Welcome back to Fiction Tea with Kwani. About the German Netflix series called Dark. Now, Dark is a German Netflix anonymous TV series about characters / families trying to figure out what happened to their family members who disappeared into an underground tunnel that led characters into a portal into the past. The show is like putting together a puzzle piece, and when you watch the show, you really have to focus and pay attention on what's going on between the characters and what's going on in the story, because it's talking about the past, the present, and the future. The setting of the story, I really enjoyed. I loved how the setting really set the tone for this series. I enjoyed the bleakness and the pale dreariness of the actors and how everyone just looked really dull, as well as the town, because it looked so washed out. Like, there was no color to the town at all. There was no color to the people. I feel like it set the tone for the entire show. I enjoyed the background music. I enjoyed how it warped me into the show, and I felt the thrill of the series as I was watching it because of the music. I think they did a good job with that. I enjoyed the pullback shots of the home and how it felt like, as a viewer, as an audience member who's watching the show, that I was walking past this place. Like, I was on the outside walking past this house. I could see it from that wide view. It was stretched out. It was like me pushing back and just like looking at it with my own eyes. I loved how there was a view, the trees, and above that, I felt like I was looking over it, you know, and I was there, like I was a bird flying over top of the trees. I enjoyed those shots. I enjoyed that setting, that tone that's set for the series. I love that. Down to specific series and specific shows, detail is really important. My cat is literally like catching flies in the back. Even from the town to the school, there's literally no color. Everything is just washed out. The school is gray and dull, and it just seems like they've been doomed from the very beginning. They come from home, it's dreary. They go to school, it's gray and dreary. It's unhappy. I love the whole thing. The whole theme of the entire show all fitted together, from the school to their home to the town. Like, everything was just one thing. And there was a mention on the show where one of the characters just kept repeating, everything's connected, everything's connected. And even when you look at the setting and the characters, you realize everything really is connected. They really built this entire thing off of one theme, and it works. It really works for the show. And I love that. Like, I love good setting, good detail. It builds you up. It builds up the audience, and it builds up the characters, and they did a really good job with that. I'm not sure if this is a good or bad thing, but going and moving on into character development and character, it was really interesting how all the characters all looked the same expression-wise. Like, everyone had the same expression. It didn't really seem like the characters had individualism to themselves, because everyone wore the same expression. Everyone looked the same. Everyone was kind of sad and dreary, and I get that it fit the theme, but it's still questionable. I was like, I don't know if this is good or bad, that most of the characters don't really have a self, because everything is connected, and because a lot of them are the same person. They don't have their own emotion. They don't have their own personality. Frowning, sad, stuck expression. For example, the mother, the police officer in episode 5, the way she talked to her daughter and how she treated her family as if they were informants, there was no empathy. There was no compassion. There wasn't even emotions going on with that. She was talking as if they were her family members. And, as a mother, you would think she would have some sort of compassion for her children, and she just... There was no tight connection shared between them. It had seemed like there never was one, even before this whole incident happened with the disappearing of those kids, and it just seemed like there never was a connection built between that family, and not even just that family, like I said, other characters. And that's one thing I do feel like it lacked, especially that family, specifically that family and that mother. It just was kind of, this weird connection. And just to make a small comment, I really enjoyed the little girl. She's so smart and so like I just love smart kid characters on films and on TV series. She was genius. I love that they had a character as well in there who spoke sign language. That was really something I really enjoyed. Another character in the story was the father. Was he a police officer? I believe he was a police officer too. Correct me if I'm wrong. But he kind of reminded me of Liam Neeson in that movie Taken, where he's like, I'm gonna find my daughter by any means necessary. I will find you. You know, like he's just going on this mission trying to find his daughter, and he'll do whatever it takes. It kind of reminded me a little bit like that, but more darker and less action packed and more just dark and just like ballistic. Like after a while, the father literally loses his mind and start going ballistic, and I loved every moment of it. I honestly loved every moment of him going crazy. I enjoyed, and I also loved the shock value it gave the audience. The scene where he's over top of the little boy, and you're thinking, I don't know, they might not go this far and, you know, allow him to kill this little boy. And they go there, and he starts bashing the little boy's brains in. And I'm just thinking, sitting back, like, wow, like, this is great. Like, for TV, this is great. Because usually, they don't normally always go there. Like, a lot of times, I am disappointed because a lot of dark thriller films or movies or TV shows, they don't actually go there, and you won't see them doing that to a child. But in this series, they went there, and I loved every minute of them going there. And I love how they showed character development with him. He went from, okay, I gotta find my son, and then it, like I said, started building, and his character just lost it at that point. It was like, look, I'm gonna find my son anywhere necessary, and if I gotta kill you for everything to change and go back to normal, I'm gonna do it, you know? So it was great. Talk about a few issues that I had about this film. So first off, when I first started watching this film, I had watched this film a while back, never finished it. Did I say film? I mean TV series. When I first started watching this Netflix TV series, I had watched it a while back, like when it first came out, and I was watching season one. And I remember turning it on, and like as soon as I heard their voice not match up with whoever was doing the English voiceover, I was like, cringy, and I never watched it. But then, you know, I rewatched it now, and it's great. But that was an issue. That was an issue that I had to get over when I first watched it, and I know people probably feel the same way when they watch it. They're like, people probably watching and are like this is kind of weird, it's cringy, because you have this German TV series, and you have these people who are not speaking English, they're speaking German. And I love a good international film. I love international films. I don't mind reading subtitles. I watch anime, all of that. But the fact that it wasn't lining up, it just reminded me of like those old martial arts films where they're fighting and they're talking, and it's like, you know, like it's not, they got the English person speaking, but then like the actor's voice is not matching up with the person, and it's just very cringy, and you're like, But once you move past that, and I actually also put on subtitles, which subtitles don't actually match up with what they're saying either, but when you get over all of that and move past that, you realize that the show is really good. Now, I would have preferred if there were just subtitles and they were just speaking whatever language they were speaking. But also, viewer-wise, a lot of people probably wouldn't have been into the show because it was a German show. I'm not sure how the marketing thing goes with that. But I would have preferred it. I would have preferred to just watch it with English subtitles and they just speak in German. You know, like, sometimes I really enjoy stuff like that. Like, I like to watch international stuff like that. Another thing was the intro. I didn't have an issue with the intro specifically. However, I did notice when I was watching the intro, like, this kind of reminds me of that picture app. And I believe there's also a video app where you can actually make your pictures like how they made it in the intro. Like, the theme song in the beginning looks like it was made by using a app on Apple that you can just download to your phone. It just looked very easy. You know, it's nothing wrong with it, but it just looked like, wow, you can like if I was to want to make a movie, I could actually do that. Like I could take an app from Apple and then like make an intro. Like it just seemed very easy to make, and it didn't seem like it was difficult. Actually, the entire show, the way that it was produced, doesn't look like it was too difficult to make. You know, I don't know how to explain that. Like, you know, sometimes you might watch a film and be like, dang, a lot of production probably went to this. A lot of money probably had to be made to make this. This film looks like a regular person, if they really wanted, could take the time to make this movie. And that's also a thing that I liked about it. But the introduction, nonetheless, it was something that I just noticed. Like, I noticed, like, oh, it reminds me of that toy that you used to have that you look through. And if you go like this, it would change colors and everything would kind of morph together. But I also understood, wow, this theme introduction correlates with the show because, like the person said in the show over and over, everything is connected. And it makes sense. So I love how everything makes sense. It really makes sense. It's like a puzzle piece. Even the intro, when everything looks connected and then it tries to separate. And if you've seen the intro, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, at first hearing everything is connected over and over, that was an issue for me too. I was just like, okay, I'm tired of this guy saying this over and over. But it definitely made sense. It was like a reminder in the film telling you. At the end made me question the fact that is there too many characters that they're adding that we really don't need to know about the future, the past, the present. Older woman who shows up, who's actually that businesswoman who found the dog. I'm still questioning her character. Maybe in season 2 I'll learn more about the importance of her, but that was definitely a question that was brought up in season 1. If you enjoyed this review, if you watched this show Dark, I really would suggest watching this show. It was a great show. It was a great series, and I'm currently watching season 2 right now. I haven't finished. If you guys would like me to do a breakdown of each episode one by one, I can do that, or I might just do the entire season 2 and just do a review of that. But comment below and let me know your thoughts about the show. How do you feel about the characters? How do you feel about the suspense of the show? Do you think it's a good show? I think it's a really good show for Netflix. I think Netflix is like doing their thing right now with the movies, with the film. I would rate this show an A. I really would rate it. I thought season 1 was an A. I think season 1's really good, and I really suggest that you go watch it. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Down below and let me know your thoughts about the show, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace.